Hi, let's go above ground and up into my studio. With Above Ground's new premium artist acrylics. I'm planning to make a series of 3 paintings based on affirmations from my diary that I've written back in 2022. Go along with that theme, the visual I have is a lot of stills close up of just like a little self-hug. And I've already gotten a head start using these ones to do a little bit of canvas prep. Let me show you. You can see that I have prepped some of these 10 by 10 canvases. I used a mix of the oxide of chromium, which is one of their opaque colors, and the titanium white, which is also an opaque color, and then a little bit of lemon yellow, which is one of the semi-transparents, just to make it a bit warmer. Each of the paints have a label to know what you can expect, so I wanted to go with some opaque colors. And the opaque colors with just one coat got me like a super even underpainting, and so I was really happy with that. Definitely opaque. Initially I wasn't sure what color palette I was going to use, but I've landed on something that looks like this-ish, mainly using the lemon yellow, so we'll get to try out this semi-transparent one. The red oxide, some burnt umber. I'm also going to try out the raw umber and see which one I'm feeling in terms of making my colors darker, because I do want it to be a little desaturated, so maybe the raw umber. Burnt umber is like a lot warmer. We're going to see what happens. But I did initially have a different color palette in mind. I am probably going to do a little study, a smaller study, to just try out these paints. Because think about how good these paints, like all of this color scheme, would look with this guy. Oh my gosh. Do you see the vision? I see it. Like a little like nighttime scene.
Anyways.
I think to start, I'm going to map out the darkest areas.
Chapter 3. A purring mechanical tone tells him the call is ringing while he sits on the sofa lacing his shoes. Home from work late. Tuesday night, awkward time to call. And never texted beforehand, almost as if, yes, hoping no one will answer.
Now that I have a dark zone in place, I want to adjust the temperature of the shadows. We have the raw umber here that I worked with. We're going to add in some burnt umber, this guy, some burnt umber, as well as some Prussian blue. I love Prussian blue. This one is opaque, which is interesting. I'm used to Prussian blue pigments being quite see-through. Okay, so then the ultramarine is actually fully transparent. So similar to what I expected from the Prussian blue, the ultramarine has it. So I'm going to also add the ultramarine in case that's necessary, because sometimes when you want your colors to be as dark as you need them to be, you need to work with like pigments and less tints that are pre-mixed. There's a chance that this won't be what I need for my deepest tones, and I might need to use the ultramarine. So keep that in mind. This section is making me feel hopeful. It's a little bit looking warmer pinker than I wanted it to look. However, I am choosing to believe that that's because the green is right here, and that once all the green is covered, it will not look that way.
You could stay at mine, he says. She pretends to laugh, averts her eyes. That place, she says. What if your cleaner sees it? Shall be more?
here is where we left off from yesterday. Before we get started with today's stint, I wanted to bring something to your attention that I've noticed about the paints. So if you take a look at, see at this angle, I'm used to working with some acrylic brands. Liquitex heavy body paints have quite a chalky finish. This has more of that sheen finish and like kind of elastic feel to it. To figure out why that is, let's look at the ingredients. Okay, let's get a little bit into the chemistry. What is in here that is not in my other paints? It could be the ratio. Acrylic paint, of course, is based in plastics, so it could be the ratio of plastic to pigment. It could also be something else in my other paints that's making it dry down chalkier. Let's take a look. So each of the paints contains a couple different components. First, we have the pigments, and these series of paints use high quality pigments designed for excellent coverage. Then we have the binder. For these, they're composed of a water-based acrylic polymer resin, ensuring that the paints are water soluble when wet, but water resistant once dry. Then we have additives. So additives are stabilizers, defoamers, plasticizers. The difference between an acrylic paint having a more matte, non-reflective finish versus a sheen to the finish is actually due to the ratio of polymer binder to pigment. And when there is a lower ratio of polymer binder to pigment, often with added dulling agents like silica, these scatter the light rather than reflect it. So in this case, there's likely a higher ratio of polymer binder to pigment, or it's missing additives such as silica. All up to your preference, but something important to know if you're considering purchasing paint. I am going to experiment with some matte varnishes at the end. We're going to see how they react to that. Okay, back to painting. Just as anticipated, this green base is tripping me up visually as I've been working on the paintings. It's like so hard to see what color is correct as I put it down, but I think it will be worth it. We just need to cover the bulk of the green, and then my brain will start to make sense of things a bit better. I also ran out of palette space so fast, so we're gonna bring in the big guns. Let's go. I'm so excited about this. This is the big version of what I've been working with. This feels both so exciting but also insane as a palette. It's like almost the width of two paintings. It's crazy. Day 3, I think. Third day is the third day doing this painting. Oh. It is the third day that I'm working on this painting. I really like this little foot. So cute. Yesterday I switched off to my tinier brush. Today I'm going to force myself to go back to the big brush and cover up some of the large areas that exist on this painting, across the shoulder blade and stuff, and then as well this painting that I haven't touched since day 1. We're gonna get some of these big colors blocked in so that it can feel a little bit closer to where we're at with this painting. We're back. We're gonna put her away for a second and work on this one. I'm gonna do this kind of shoulder space. I feel like I'm showing up looking progressively more crazy each of these days. It's a pajama kind of day. We're gonna work on this painting. I'm gonna let myself go back to the one that I'm liking the most right now, which is this one right here, and kind of push it to a point closer to completion. Feels very soft. I don't know, feels very soft for an acrylic painting and for something that's based on neon green. Okay, quick trip back to science class because I just think that this is so interesting. So, you know how I was saying the finish of the paintings is quite like, it's got the sheen to it and it's a little bit less matte than I'm used to. So I'm someone who, I water down my acrylic paints quite a lot. I love to work in washes, and it's not actually a recommended thing. People who are experts in acrylic paints and how they work really emphasize the importance of using different mediums instead of watering down, because when you water down you can mess up the pigment. It can like break it apart from what holds it, like its binder or whatever. But some of that is what makes the paints so matte when I paint with it. And I just did a wash of a color because I wanted to tint it a little bit more yellowy on this painting, and it's still got a sheen to it, but you just have to believe me on this because it's kind of hard to see on the camera. It got matter. Super interesting to me. The wash worked well as long as you're using a translucent, transparent, semi-transparent color. You can use washes. If you're going to follow the rules, use medium instead of water. Today's the last day I'm going to work on these. We're going to finish all of these today. I'm going to add in some of the details, small little hair strands, moles, that kind of stuff. Plus do a couple washes over some areas and then see where we're at. I have them arranged like this because I think I am going to maybe display them like in those orientations because I think that's kind of fun. I think that's done. We're officially all done. Let me show you each of them. Okay, I say all done, but there's tape here because I do need to paint the edges still. But this is our first one here. I'm still gonna put the matte top coat on, but that's that one. Next one. This one right here. My favorite, I think, which is this one. Really love this one, and I think I'm gonna display it like this. I think I like this as being the right up. really happy with how they all turned out. And these wouldn't have been possible. These were made possible by the above ground acrylic premium paints. The main colors I ended up using in first place, lemon yellow for sure. This got tinted over and over again with lemon yellow. It let me get that kind of moodiness I was looking for. Then oxide of chromium. This one came so in clutch. I just kept adding it in as like a palette neutralizer to all of my colors. So they would be a little too saturated, throw this in and dull out the pinks to make it fit in with the palette better. Then this transparent one, the cadmium red, was super helpful. There were a couple times where I was teetering on the line of having it tinted yellow and looking kind of sickly dead, and this brought it back to life. I loved working with the raw umber. I did have to use burnt umber quite a bit as well to get proper dark colors. The raw umber wasn't getting them as dark as the burnt umber, so keep in mind. For the same reasons, the ultramarine blue actually ended up being my preferred blue over the Prussian blue because it is a transparent paint. So I was able to make the kind of close to blacks that I needed. And then, of course, titanium white. You just needed it. I got to try out the titanium white as well as the mixing white. It looks the same. It says mixing white. The mixing white, definitely super transparent and does not add much pigment of white at all. It very gradually lightens the color, so you can add a lot of mixing white before it actually like desaturates or lightens your color too much. So if you want to add volume to your paint, to mix more of your paint and to just very slightly lighten your paint, mixing white was helpful for those things. Now I have these paintings and I'm that much closer to being ready for my solo show this June. Thank you.